I used to chase hours for dollars. That was obtaining new clients for the business, but you can make money blogging through affiliates and sponsorships. But there's a big but with affiliate marketing. It takes time. Not only do you have to have the traffic generation in order to get the clicks, but it also takes time, like 3 months for some affiliates. Others are 30 days, 60 days. I think the most is 120. And they want to make sure that people who sign up with your affiliate link actually use the program software and don't cancel within the 90-day period. So you may look at a dashboard and say, hey, I made $100, $200. And you're like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And this happened to me recently. I actually kept sending emails saying, I see that I've got money owed, but where is it? And I finally realized it comes months later. So that's something to be aware of. And maybe a good solution would be to have a spreadsheet of the different affiliate programs you have for your blog so that you're better able to keep track of the money coming, if it's coming in. I had done really well 2 years ago and was actually starting to make more money through that than the rest of my business managing social media. But then with the AI overviews, all the Google updates, things changed. I almost went down to 0, and now I've started coming back up. And now just today it looks like there's been another update. So it's touch and go, but it is a great way to earn money without spending countless hours. And if you really like what you're writing and you use these tools, it's a great way. Another way, of course, is sponsorships, having sponsors on your blog. They sometimes can come in different forms. It could be like an ad, it could be a paragraph in a blog article, or it could be a whole blog article. But the thing I caution is, as I'm tearing apart Inspired to Thrive, that had over 800 posts, now is down to just over 600 and counting down, is that if you accept these sponsorships, you have to usually use the content that they provide. Some instances you can rework it, and there was one client I worked with for years that I was able to rework it as much as I wanted, as long as I kept their links. But now that I'm going back and looking at them, they really weren't relevant. They really weren't, important to the page or to the readership. So those I've been kind of cutting back. And I never promised anyone I dealt with for more than 2 years, because they'd say, is it permanent? Is the link going to be permanent? Well, how long am I going to be blogging? Probably another 30 years. I don't know. But I always put the 2 years because I know we always have to pivot. I have 3 categories. It's social media, SEO, and blogging. Those are my 3 categories on Inspired to Thrive. And then I started a second site, Small Biz Tipster, because I was having so many small business sponsorships come in. So I'm kind of going through those and really narrowing those down. It really depends, again, like I said in previous videos, it depends on how many backlinks you have to a post. It also depends how many comments you've had on the post and if you're getting any traffic, especially organic traffic. So those are the 3 things I really look at before I decide to redirect a post. And if you're redirecting, it's a 301. And a shout out to Nicola Rosa, who reminded me that, even if you delete, you still have to do I think it's called the 404 delete. But if you have Yoast and Rank Math, they usually do those automatically for you. But that's just a heads up too, to make sure you're doing them properly if you're trimming your content as well. And again, I had said it's like trimming your bushes. They come back, they grow better. Same with plants. Spinach is an example. Spinach can keep coming up long as you're trimming it. So it's the same with your content. It's not something that you can set and forget unless you have something that's really in an evergreen category, which I don't know what today would fall into that. Maybe writing, but even that's changed a lot with the internet. Online writing is so much different than books in a bookstore, the way that you have to write. So there's not a lot, but there's a few things, I guess, that would be considered evergreen content or content that can last more than a few months. Like me, social media, I really think twice now before publishing new content because it's going to change so fast. And how many of those can I have? So working through that, and probably be talking about that more in the future here on my videos. But I wanted to share the differences about making that money through the affiliates. Another tidbit on affiliates is if you work with companies directly, I do much better working directly, where they have their own dashboard with their affiliates, not a program where they have multiples. I've had one that I'm in that has these multiples, and I've had thousands of clicks, no sales, like what's going on? Where these others that I deal direct, I usually have sales within, under 1,000. If there's 500, 800 clicks, I usually got sales there. So that's something I caution you too, that some of those big programs, they really pay little, and I don't know why they're not paying on any clicks. I know you have to have the sales, so why aren't the sales converting on those? That's something I really don't like to do those anymore. I'm really sticking with the ones that have been good, that pay on time. And if you have PayPal, you lose a little money, but then I was also using Pioneer, and I totally lost everything with Pioneer. They just closed my account. No reason, no nothing. So you can have direct deposit into your checking account with some of them, which is the best because you're not losing the money, or PayPal because you know it works and you go with what works, and that works best. I don't know if there's also Wise, and I've done okay with Wise, but I get a little nervous because it reminds me too much of Pioneer. So I've kind of been really sticking to that PayPal, and if I can add a few dollars to my price or tell them, long as you pay the PayPal fees, if I'm negotiating a lower price, I'll do that, or I used to do that. I don't really negotiate too much anymore because it's been over 10 years I've had the blog, and I know what my rankings are, and you can't sell yourself too cheap. That's a big mistake at the beginning if you're just starting out with the blog. So, but affiliate marketing is great, long as it's, again, stuff that's relevant to what you're writing, products that you've used and that you have experience with. And sponsorships can be good long as they can go by your terms and you set the terms. So those are the things that you can really do well from blogging in certain categories. I've also started with my newer blog, the rural area blog. I had a sponsorship on that blog recently, and that's something I'm going to try to grow a little bit more in the coming years as time goes on. I like to kind of diversify the blogs a little bit. So I hope you found this helpful in your blogging journey, and a couple of ways to make money and some little ins and outs that happens with those methods to make money blogging. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Please remember to subscribe to my channel.